I love this man. This man has literally saved my life. I would die for this man. I know everything about this man. This man has no idea who I am. And that's the weird part. It feels like I have astigmatism. Well, I do, actually. Fun fact. I do. Okay, first of all, hi. Sorry I disappeared again. I soft quit YouTube again without telling anybody that I did. And then I pretended that I didn't. Classic. But also, thank you for 93 subs in 2 videos. That's a record for me. Literally unhinged and deeply flattering. I don't even have an upload schedule. Well, I will develop one now that it's summer, but I barely exist and you're still here anyway, so thank you. Love that for us. Anyway, I'm back. Sort of. Spiritually, emotionally, and algorithmically. Let's talk. Editor. Yes? Make that Emma Chamberlain little slurping sound when I slurp this. Okay.
That's the last straw.
Parasocial relationships are kind of the backbone of the internet. YouTubers, streamers, influencers, podcasters, we feel like we know these people. But the reality is we don't. And they don't know us either. Still, we care. We get invested, we laugh with them, we cry with them, we defend them, cancel them, love them. And it's one of the weirdest emotional dynamics on the internet. So today, we're talking about parasocial relationships. What they are, why they matter, and why they feel real even though we know they're not. Kind of like my plans for this week. Wait, back to personal mode. If you are returning from one of my many YouTube channels that I keep deleting, this is not my normal background. What the heck? Why am I changing it up like this? I don't know. Well, I do know. It's because I'm at my boyfriend's house. But I think we'll survive. We can work through this. Part 1. What is a parasocial relationship? The term was coined in the 1950s by 2 psychologists who noticed that people were forming emotional attachments to radio hosts and TV personalities. Back then, it was kind of rare, for lack of a better word. Now it's basically built into every single platform. YouTubers talk to the camera like they're talking to a friend. TikTok POVs are literally pretending to be your boyfriend. And even though we know they're strangers, it feels like we're building a relationship with them. A parasocial relationship is one-sided. We invest time, emotion, even loyalty, but they don't know we exist. And the brain, which evolved to form bonds in small social groups, cannot tell the difference. Even though I left my usual background, I'm still doing my angle changes for the B plot. So there is some consistency going on here. Don't worry. Okay. So you know how some people had like a Taylor Swift phase or a Lana phase, and then they move on? Yeah, I had a 21 Pilots phase since elementary school, and I never moved on. I just evolved. Most of these bracelets were made mid-mental breakdown or traded with someone at a concert who also cried to truce at 1 a.m. once. Gifted with Thought, 21 Pilots. Smithereens, 21 Pilots. Holding On to You, 21 Pilots. Vessel, 21 Pilots. Migraine, 21 Pilots. This one just says 21 Pilots. There's so many more. This one's probably 21 Pilots. Oh no, this one says Be Fucking Nice. Okay, that's a whole different story. Whatever. Part 2. Why we crave it. We are lonely. No shade. That's just the reality. The internet gives us this weird simulation of connection. Something that feels real but has no risk, no awkwardness, and no rejection. Parasocial relationships give us comfort. They're predictable. They're there when we need them. There's no pressure to perform. We get to be the quiet observer, soaking up intimacy without vulnerability. And when we're lacking connection in real life, it's easy to use parasocial relationships as a substitute. But that's where things get a little unhinged. Like, Stan Twitter unhinged, you know? The thing is, though, holy balls. The thing is, I don't just like 21 Pilots. I've assigned emotional meaning to their existence. I've written about them in my journals. I've quoted their lyrics in school fucking essays. One time I literally used car radio to explain metaphysics in English class. They don't know me. And neither do I, so here's the primary... See, the lyrics are embedded. But they were there for me in a way that felt real. And that's kind of the whole point. It's not logical, it's personal. That's how parasocial bonds work. Not just consuming someone's art, you're letting it narrate your life. Part 3. when it gets weird. There's a line, and it gets blurry. Saying the word blurry just like really, I almost made a 21 Pilots reference there, but I think that I need to stop. I think I have reached the maximum for this video. But the line gets blurry. We start projecting. We assume we know them. We defend them like a best friend, or we hate them like an ex. People get attached to creators, like emotionally attached, to the point that when they change, take breaks, or disappoint us, it feels personal. But here's the reality. We don't actually know them. We know the versions of themselves they curate for content. And even when that person is vulnerable and honest, it's still a performance. We are forming emotional bonds with the version of a person. And sometimes we don't realize how much of ourselves we're giving to that illusion. I used to keep a little lyric journal. Like, not even creative. Just straight up copying down 21 Pilots lyrics and writing little annotations like, this line is literally me. And I look back at it now like, wow, I needed that. I needed someone to say something so honest that it could make me feel like I wasn't the only one spiraling. And yeah, it wasn't even a real relationship, but it was still connection, even if it's one-sided. Part 4. Why this isn't always bad. Okay, but parasocial relationships aren't inherently toxic. They can be comforting, inspiring. Sometimes a creator does say something that genuinely helps you or changes your life, and that matters. We're allowed to care about people who don't know us. That's what art is. That's what fandom is. The key is remembering that it's not a two-way street, and that the closeness you feel is kind of an emotional illusion, not a shared experience. Love creators, feel things, but don't forget to invest in relationships where you're actually known. There was a point where I got kind of weird about it, and I'm honestly still at that point. Like, if someone says they don't get 21 Pilots, I feel personally offended. But back in the day, I acted like I had this exclusive emotional access to their music, like a loyalty contract. Looking back, I was just projecting. I needed them to be what I needed, even if they didn't ask for that. That's the tricky part. You start to build meaning out of someone else's art, and suddenly it feels like they owe you something. But they don't. They never did. Tyler Joseph and Josh Dunn, no shade. I think I stayed really living during some really bad months because of this band. Not because they saved me, but because I saw myself in their words. I still listen to Truce when I feel like giving up. I still wear these bracelets when I need grounding. They don't know me, but their art reached me. And the community in these sort of fandoms and things adjacent to like band fandoms is so amazing. It's like genuine friendship with these people who love something that you love, and that's where you find actual things that are real, things that get you through what you need to get through. Parasocial relationships are weird, but also kind of beautiful. They're not a replacement for real connection, but they can be a reminder of what it means to be human, to want to connect, to be seen, to feel close to someone, even if only from a distance. Just make sure you're not putting all your emotional eggs in a basket held by someone who doesn't know your name. You deserve mutual connection, not just comfort. Love people, don't just disappear into them. Subscribe for more internet spirals and philosophy adjacent breakdowns. Bye.
Amazing!